Welcome. I'm glad you're here. You're going to have a great future with this group of people, and you're going to make this tribe of ours better. We got a strong culture at the Hardway Fitness, and it's actually the most important thing we have. You might think the training is number one, but in fact, it's the people and the culture, and that's why we're so selective in our membership, why it's a closed community. We're looking for a diverse mix of people from all backgrounds who work towards a common goal, and that goal is lifelong fitness. It's a collective goal for all of us, but it's also kind of unique to you and everybody else as well. How you get there is also unique. We give you like the baseline programming and tailor it accordingly, and that's how we're all kind of on the same journey, and we have common fitness standards that we want to see in this group. But how you get there is very personal, and we'll work with you on that. Achieving the milestone standards that we have, so these are kind of like beginner, intermediate, and advanced standards that we look or seek to attain as part of the program. We're going to work with you through that, and that's one of the big milestones we have, and kind of a very rewarding experience as you kind of tick those off and whatnot. But none of that will matter or be sustainable without the tribe and the community. This tribe gives you accountability, support, and that community feeling. And those three things will keep you consistent. I mean, if you try doing this on your own, you'll fail and falter more than if you do this with the tribe. You're paying, what, $120 a month? It's about $4 a day of coffee, price of a meal per week, or probably about half or even a third of a gym membership these days every month. It's good value what you're getting here. What you need to do next here is just read your welcome pack that you can see on the screen here. Familiarize yourself with the Discord here. That has tons of information, and don't be overwhelmed. Just go through what you want to, have a quick look around, comment on anything you like. Make sure you introduce yourself, make an entry in the daily diary too. That would be really helpful. And everyone will say hi and welcome you to the community, I'm sure of it. I'll get you set up on Trainer Rock, and we'll get your toe in the water with some training soon as well. And remember, look here, there's no 4-week six-pack body plans. There's no 12-week shred beach body plans. There's only consistent training over weeks and months and years, coupled with sustainable nutrition, better efforts at sleep, and competing in different events and all sorts of stuff. So we have a lot, but nothing is short term. You're not under pressure to perform straight away. You have time to get in with the community. And what will happen is, as you're on board and you become part of this tribe and the community, you'll learn and you'll develop, you'll fall into a routine, and slowly, bit by bit, you'll make the changes that you need to do to get the body you want in the time you have in an effective and sustainable way. So it's not something that you kind of like tensing a muscle and sprinting for 12 weeks to do, and at the end of the 12 weeks you're just relieved to be finished and you don't want to exercise or eat good again for a month. No, it's different to that. This is, getting up and training once a week for a couple of weeks, and twice a week, and 3 times a week. And if you compound that over time, so not even just months but years, 4 or 5 years, this is what I experienced myself. You get really consistent and good at doing 2-3 good training days a week. You better control your diet. Monday to Friday, I'm quite strict with my dieting. And if I'm at the weight I'm happy with, and I'm kind of at the performance I'm happy with, then I let myself have a little bit of a breather on the weekend, and I get straight back to it on Monday. That works for me, and it's worked for me for years, and you can get to that level too. But at the start, and other instances, you might want to be a bit more strict and go 6 days or even 7 days a week. It really depends on you, and we'll work with you on that. But it's sustainable. You can do it. You're not killing yourself. We onboarded a client who told me recently. He said, I was on this 14-week program and I got sick and missed like the 4th and 5th week, and I was just like, I'll just restart, and I restarted it, and then something else came up and I restarted it again, and on the 4th or 5th restart, it was just done. I had no power, no energy. I kind of made the point. I was saying, like, if you're just training, not for kind of a short-term target, but for a lifelong fitness, that's just a blip on the road. You just jot it down, you manage what you can during the time, and you get back to training. You haven't missed, a quarter of your entire program that's supposed to change your life. You've missed 2 weeks, a week, out of a lifetime of fitness. So it's not the end of the world. You'll be fine. It's the same with birthdays, traveling, all sorts of stuff. We factored that in. You can train. You can do whatever you need to do. That's fine. It all fits into the plan. You want to be kind of consistent regularly, over time. And this adds up. I mean, in 10 years might seem like a long time away, but it isn't. It does go fast, I'll tell you that. But I mean, even bring it back down to a couple of months and a year, you'll see changes very, very fast when you start implementing the right things. And the right things, are often made to sound more difficult than they are, but they're not. They're really not. The basic stuff, the consistent stuff, not hard. You don't need to do barbells, you don't need to do kettlebells, you don't need to do dumbbells. You can do whatever you choose and we can figure it out for you. It's the basics, the fundamentals, the movements that are important. And the same with nutrition as well. There's so many diets out there, and ask yourself this: how can we continuously see and develop new diets, with the exception of kind of some of the science and research which says actually, this food is quite good for you and here's a ton of evidence and it's peer reviewed. That's fine. But a new diet this way, that way, no carbs, full carbs, only meat, no meat, all this sort of thing, right? It's very personal. Some of it will work for you, some of it won't. So rather than kind of, show your allegiance to one particular diet, rather accept the fact that you'll test several different types over time and you'll develop kind of your own knowledge, skills and aptitudes around what worked and what didn't. I'll give you an example, right? Intermittent fasting. Yeah. Some people just could never do it and would never do it and see no reason to do it. And there's evidence to say that it's not the ideal diet for building muscle. And that makes sense, right? Because you're not really delivering protein, carbs and fats to your body at the right time if you're training in the morning in particular, because a lot of people like me train fasted. But that being said, the reason I did intermittent fasting and the benefit I got for it was that I had terrible irritable bowel syndrome. So I'd get up in the morning, early, train, go to work and be crippled until about 12 or 1 o'clock when it finally subsided. No matter what I ate or what I did, it was awful. So by implementing intermittent fasting, I stopped eating then basically I only ate between the hours of 12 lunch to 8 p.m. And it kind of gave my stomach a break and I didn't get the IBS in the mornings. I was more productive at work. I enjoyed my gym sessions more. Yes, I probably suffered a little bit in terms of muscle building and whatnot, but the offset to that was that I didn't have these chronic cramps and pains, and that's the personal aspect. You can do all the research you want and all this sort of stuff, but the personal aspect is most important. And that's really where we'll work with you too. Because identifying what works for you at a personal level it's not going to be documented anywhere. It's only documented for you. It's completely down to you. So if we figure out, that you are killing it on your performance with a diet that leans more towards a vegetarian and less meat, fantastic. If you're absolutely smashing it and you're loving all your meals because you're getting to eat chicken and beef and turkey and all this sort of stuff, that's great. And that's the other thing. And we do encourage, obviously, blood work and things like that every now and again with your physician, whatever you need just to stay on top of things. But that's BAU as well. We all do that anyway. Everyone should get medical checks, but that sort of stuff as well can keep you on the right track. So if your cholesterol is too high and things, you need to adjust and stuff like that. Don't get bogged down thinking, you're going to come on here and be given a diet and told this is what you eat, blah, blah, blah. In most cases, we actually don't touch on the diet subject for probably 4 to 6 weeks. So we just focus on getting into a routine, getting used to the community, getting used to Discord, getting used to Train Heroic, getting kind of like almost like onboarding to a new company. You're not going to be expected to produce outputs. I mean, in some roles and companies, I remember being told, we don't really expect much of an output for you from 12 to 16 months. So it takes a long time to embed. And it's the same here. Not to say that we don't expect you to train, we do. And you need to be part of the community and you need to kind of support other members of the community and it'll be returned to you in the same with respect. Respect the community and the community will respect you. And you will benefit. But that being said, you have time. This is a lot of change over time and you need to kind of figure out how it works. I have 2 kids, a wife, a home, a busy job, and the way I train now is completely different to the way I trained 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. Everything changed. And then there was COVID and things like that as well. So it evolves and you will evolve over time as well. So don't worry at the start about kind of, okay, here's the exact template to do things perfectly, because that doesn't exist. What you need to focus on at the start is showing up, doing the work, honesty of effort, and just making sure you're giving the best attempt you can with the knowledge you have at the time and the resources available to you, okay? That's all we ask, is just to show up, contribute, and be a good community member. So being a good community member, what that means is, you celebrate each other's wins. You answer each other's questions. You help. You're there for them. You're there to chat, you ping, all this sort of stuff. This group here, if you let it, will push you and get you further than you've ever been. one of the anecdotes that I use often is basically for years, I got down to a certain weight, a certain size, and I was happy and whatnot. But then, I thought to myself, wow, I'm really disciplined and motivated until I started competing in Muay Thai and fighting, and I had to cut weight. And I remember I took a fight on relatively short notice for fights and cutting weight. So I was probably about 78 kilos, 77, and I needed to fight at 70 kilos. The thought of missing the weight at that weigh-in and not being able to fight, given that all the time and training and resources that people were putting into getting me ready for the fight, was an unbelievable motivator. The community, the tribe that was there pushing me, telling me, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you do it. Go for it. Your deadline is, 8 weeks from now. Go. And I was so committed, did everything I was supposed to. And it was easy because I had that pressure. Sometimes pressure is good. It's something to consider as well as you go through this. So we often, once a quarter, recommend that tribe members look and find a race or an event to do. A 5K walk, a 5K run, 10K, whatever it might be. If you're up to it and capable of it, you could even apply for something like an adventure race or a duathlon or triathlon, anything along those lines. But it's just something kind of like a target to have. And we have the standards here, and we do competitive workout nearly week on week as well, kind of a fun pusher one, like a metabolic conditioning set or something like that too. All that sort of stuff adds up, and it keeps you on target as well. It's very easy to say no, to say like, a takeaway or bad food on the weekend when you've got the image of yourself, like, let's just say it was a photo shoot or a fight, on the stage or in the ring, and you're overweight. Everybody knows it. Your confidence, your motivation, you're just like, no, I can't do that. I can't let people down. Same for a photo shoot, or a wedding or something like that, which is a huge motivator for a lot of people, weddings, fitting suits and fitting dresses and things like that. So those are great motivators. And the tribe here is similar to that. They'll keep you accountable. After a while, you'll find yourself like, geez, I actually don't want to turn up and say I didn't do that or I failed that, because that's an awful feeling. And actually what really feels good is when I turn up and say that was a brutal workout. I could barely do it, but I got through it. Not that we kill you with the workouts or anything like that, but there will be some challenges along the way. So I think you're going to love it here. It's your online hub. It's your home. It's a little corner of the internet that's a bit different. We're not peddling any kind of hacks. We're not going to sell your data. We're not going to put you down a sales funnel. I don't have protein to sell you. I don't have anything like that. It's just really a closed network, a small community, or tribe as we call it, of people with shared values, shared ethos, a shared training approach and style, but completely open and flexible as well, and to change and development. I will change and develop over time as well. It's not just you, it's everyone. And we work together. We stay in touch. We use the Discord, which is a great tool just for, silly messages and all that sort of stuff. Just a bit of crack, a bit of fun. But at the same time, there's a serious aspect to it. And we want to be fit and healthy for life. That's the main thing. There's so much of chronic illness. There's a plague almost of obesity and things like that. And it's just, we're hoping to be a little island of safety and kind of, fitness in that world, and to keep and continue developing. So what happens next basically is, like I mentioned, get familiar with Discord, with Train Heroic, introduce yourself. We'll start to onboard you. Programming is prescribed in Train Heroic. It comes to your phone on your app. It's very, very intuitive and easy to use. You'll see kind of the wider program that everyone's doing, but I'll work with you and tell you what you need to actually do. And the reason for that is I want you to kind of see where the level everyone's at and where you're going to be at too. And we'll work with you to kind of get to that level as well. There's no fear, if there's any exercise you can't do or you're not competent with. A lot of people are terrified of using barbells. We can get you past that, or we can get around it, this sort of stuff. Like I said, we focus on the core fundamentals. Horizontal push, horizontal pull movements, vertical push, pull, lower movements like squats, hinges, bending at the hip and stuff like that. Isometrics, holding things, carrying things, and then cardiovascular training and conditioning like running, cycling, all this sort of stuff. And if immediately you hear the word running and you're thinking, oh God, no. Look, there's other ways and means of getting your cardiovascular fitness up. You can use rowing machines, bikes, treadmills, all sorts of stuff. But at some point you will run on this program because it is just too beneficial. Long, slow distance, continuous high intensity, interval running, sprinting, things like that have an enormous benefit to your body. And once you're capable of doing them, you'll want to do them. That's the other thing. When we give you that capability, you'll want to do it. So yeah, just be open as well to that sort of stuff, I say, is the other message. What you see on screen, apart from my shiny head, is the welcome pack, and this is on the Discord. You can download it straight away. This is really just to kind of get you into the ethos and the mindset that we have, our strength, endurance, performance. That's really what we think of when we think of our lifelong fitness approach. And this is an interesting quote I found years ago that resonated with me. There's no kind of accredited source for it. I don't know where it came from, but I always thought it was very good because it focuses more on what you're capable of doing rather than your weight, your size, your shape, and anything like that. It's like, we don't really care as long as you perform and you're willing to perform and your attitude is there. That's the main thing. We also kind of have a call to arms in here. Have a read of that. What to do if you're making a start or restarting, as many of us are, how we kind of take our approach, what we do, accepting where we are, focus on the now, baptize and test the new approach, acknowledge things that you haven't done before you need to do, and then cut the fat, which is basically keep what works and discard what's ineffective in your process. First steps outlined importance of acceptance. Second step outlined importance of it. Everything is here. So it's a good pack, and I spent a lot of time developing this. It's actually derived from a book I was writing, documenting my own approach to it, and I took the key points and I put them in here and shared them for your use. Also disclaimer at the end and whatnot. So this is all here for you. Everything is here for you. I'm here for you. The team are here for you. The tribe is here for you. So you're going to have a great time. We have a limited tribe membership, so this community is never going to get to the point where you're just, randomers and strangers talking. I hope at some point you'll know everyone here and you'll be able to connect with everyone here. We will do social nights as well. What I'm thinking is kind of time zone permitting now is the only thing we might have to do 2 or 3 depending. We'll do kind of like barbecue and beer nights, which is kind of like a social night. So you get a beer, barbecue, wine, pizza, whatever you want, and we just kind of sit and chat and talk online and, talk all things fitness and life and stuff and just bond and things like that in the absence of us all being together in a physical gym. I think the online thing really works. Post-COVID, I think everyone's kind of used to it as well. So we've all kind of gotten over that shock and dismay at Zoom. God, I hate Zoom calls and things like that. But look, main points and the main message I wanted to get across on this is that you're really welcome. I'm really glad you're here. When I built this and I was putting it together, I never imagined it would grow to be this and become this thing. It actually started as an ebook, like maybe 10 years ago. It's evolved over time as I have with things and whatnot. And here we are, a community online of people who care about each other, care about fitness, and are motivated to do it. It's amazing. It's anyone who's worked in corporate or I guess kind of any roles over time will know that teams make the job. If you have a great team and you work with good people who are your friends, even a terrible job becomes bearable. Whereas the easiest job in the world, but if you work with a team of people that you absolutely despise, management that kind of crush you or don't support you, it's horrific. Over time, it just wears you down. So that's what this tribe is. We exclusively now look to recruit via referrals. So we don't really market anymore. We don't do much of that. We want referrals. We want people that you know and trust that you can bring in and we can bring in and work together, because more than anything, protecting the community, and that's not to say we're exclusive, we're just very selective. Protecting the community is so important because I don't want to bring in people who will kind of bring people down, won't commit, won't support. Now, you're fine to question things and provide feedback and everything. That's not what I'm saying. It's more a case of, there's certain people, and you will have come across it, who will face a challenge and, no matter how hard it is and how good or bad they do, they do it and they're positive, and you would go through it with them and you'd be like, okay, I'll help you, or help me, and whatever happens. And there's other people you're just like, oh God, I hope that I don't have to work with that person or do that with this person on this thing, because it's just a nightmare and I have to hold my tongue and I'm trying to be polite and the person's being so rude or ignorant. So that's what we want to avoid. We want really good people, and the fitness state of the people doesn't matter. It's attitude, because remember, this is over time. We're improving over time, a long time. My fitness journey started in 2012, as in I actually started to do things properly. I was trying, and restarting every week, every day, every weekend for months and years before that. So this is the point where you kind of join this tribe and you cut all that crap out. You actually just start getting things done properly, and you learn a lot. So you're going to see my face a lot on the Discord and whatnot, so hopefully it's okay. You're okay to look at it. I do my best. But I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to talk with you and to learn more about you as well. We're very interested in who you are, what you do, where you come from, and everything like that. What your situation is, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. There's no problem posting anything in here. Just remember, read our rules, be polite to our members, and yeah, you're super welcome. I can't wait to work with you. And if you need anything at all, reach out to me on Train Heroic, reach out to me on Discord. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I'm not 24/7. I do have a family, but I do try and respond very, very quickly. So Monday to Friday, I'm typically business hours online, and on the weekends, kind of a reduced online presence, as it kind of should be, I think. But if there's an emergency or anything like that, you have my details. Reach out, and I will get back to you. But yeah. Anyway, look, I'm really excited. I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to see this community get bigger and better. And what we are now, I'm sure will be totally different in 5 years, and I can't wait to see it. So here we go. You're very welcome.